Hello, welcome to another Mandy's tip. Today I'm going to show you guys how to preserve paper or conserve, not well and preserve, but conserve. Preserving your paper in a conservative way. I have a couple tips, and no matter how you scrapbook, this is going to work for you. So let's get started. Turn this down here. Hopefully you guys can all see that. So my first tip, and like I said, this will work if you use the side loading sleeves where you just slide in your page, or if you wallpaper pages like this. These techniques will work just fine. So as you can see, I have a couple scraps that I'm going to use. I thought I had some more. There they are. So this is from my Facebook Live last night that didn't go well because I didn't read directions prior. But today I'm prepared. I shouldn't make any mistakes. So I have a couple scraps, and then I have some full pages too. These are actually going to be my base papers for my layout. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to cut a circle out of one of these. So let's work on page 1. So this page, I want a kind of sort of big circle so that I can put a photo on it. I told you I was ready, but I want to make sure I have the biggest circle, or I could use the inside of this one. I think that's too big, so I'm just going to use the biggest circle from the custom cutting system. And since I want it the biggest, I'm going to use the blue blade on the outside. So that will make the biggest circle I can with this shape. And if you remember correctly, the two little prongs go inside the track, and each blade is a little bit further away from the shape. So the red is closest, the blue is farthest away, and the green's in the middle. So the blue on this shape will make the biggest circle on the outside, but then it will also make the smallest circle on the inside, if that makes sense. But today I'm going to use this blue, and I'm going to put my circle probably about right here, and I'm just going to cut this circle out of here. I just put those prongs in the track and swing it around. These new swivel blades are pretty amazing. It kind of just swivels with you. And then I always make sure that I'm cut before I move my shape, so that if I have to go around again, it works out. So my base page of my layout is gonna look like this, basically. So instead of cutting a circle out of another piece of paper to put right here, I just used this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a technique called welding. And since this is gonna be the back of my page, I'm gonna take some scraps of this white. And like I said, this will work in your side loading sleeves or if you wallpaper. Excuse me. So I'm just going to cut a couple strips of this. They don't have to be very wide. I'm just doing a 1/2 inch with my 12-inch trimmer. I'm just going to cut a couple for now. And then I'm going to cut them, since I have a circle, I'm going to cut them again so that I have a couple. I'm going to call them Band-Aids or welding strips. And they don't, this is like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just cutting them. Okay, so I have 4 little strips. My circle's where I want it. And I'm just going to tape these down so that it's holding my circle to the paper. See? Little Band-Aids. Little welding strips. And this chunk of white actually just came from the free piece of paper that comes in your paper packs. That front cover is acid free or photo safe. So you're basically getting a free piece of white every time you buy a paper pack. So there you go. Now once I put more things on this, like the photo mat or embellishments or whatever, it's going to hold it more. So there's that. I do want a photo mat on here. So I'm going to go ahead. I think I want the photo mat in this striped. And this paper is actually from our Croptoberfest paper pack. So if you are coming to my retreat September 16th through 19th, you will get a free one of these. If you're not coming but would like to have one of these paper packs, you can start ordering them on the 30th on my website. So I just cut that at 4 and then at 6. So I have two 4x6 mats here. And I'll use one of them later. Excuse me. But this one, I just want to put, and I might put a little more tape on this than I normally do, just so it holds that circle a little better. I'm just going to put it right here. So now we're holding a little more right here, okay? I'm going to pause on this page for right now, and I'm going to go to this page. This page is basically going to be about the same thing. I'm going to cut a square out of it. And I think I'm going to cut like a 10 by, no, let's see, 4, 8 by 10. I'm going to cut an 8 by 10 out of it. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be my 10 side. So I'm going to cut it at the 2, but I'm only going to cut it to 4 or 8. 4 this way, so 8. I'm going to cut it to 8. So on my trimmer is that white line. I'm just going to cut to the 8 mark on my trimmer. I'm going to put that white line on the 8. And then I'm going to flip this around, and since I wanted this to be 4, I'm actually going to do it this way. And I'm going to cut at the 4. And I'm only going to cut to the 10, because remember I wanted an 8 by 10. So I'm putting my white mark on the 10. There you go. So now I have a little frame. Remember, this was my front. And I'm going to weld this in here just like this. So now it kind of matches this side, right? And we're just going to, again, put this in there the way I want it. Or where it goes, actually, where I just cut it out. I'm going to take my little strips and I can cut a little bit of this off. And I'm going to have to cut another one. And we'll just weld these two pieces together. So there again, I'm having a different look on my page, but I'm still only using one piece of paper. I need one more, and remember that was the 8-inch side, so I can cut a little less than 4 off. And I might use these later, so I'll save them for a little while, not for very long. And we'll weld this side. There you go. There's my 2 pages that definitely look different. Okay, now I'm gonna show you another technique using our border maker. I'm gonna do pumpkins since we got pumpkins on our paper. And I'm gonna use a little piece of yellow I had. Now if you remember how the border maker works, you put your paper in here, you pull your tray out first, put your paper in here, and line it up in that blue tray. Oh, mine's stuck, okay. And then you slam this shut and that magnet holds the paper. Well, if you can see, my paper doesn't go to the magnet. So the trick is with sticky notes, or painter's tape works too, but I'm gonna use sticky notes today. So I just put my paper where I need it and then start putting a few sticky notes on here. That way it just extends my paper a little bit, and I don't have to use a full sheet. I can use a scrap for my border. We're actually going to cut 2 of these. And I should have told you how this works in case you didn't know. But this little notch, if you can see it, lines up with these little notches. So you just punch, slide, and then you get this cute little pumpkin chain. Now I'd love to tell you that you could we could try it. We'll try it. So I'm still all stuck to the sticky notes, kind of. I guess I'm stuck to 1. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll give it a shot. Let's see if we can do it with this little tiny piece of paper, because that would really be conserving paper. Let's see how it's gonna work. Make sure my sticky is all sticky on there. Oh, it works! I cut a little bit of my sticky notes, but that's okay. And look at that. I got 2 borders out of about a 2-inch square strip of paper. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? Okay, and then the other, that's the border maker. But then we also have the border punches. So I wanted to show you a trick with sticky notes and them and scraps also. We're going to use this. Let me get rid of this trash. And sometimes that's not trash. Sometimes there's some good stuff left over. I'm using this Wheatfield punch, which was a promotion. So you can't, unfortunately, get this punch. But the way these punches work is you start at this black line. You can actually start wherever you want. But you start at the black line, punch, and then continue on. But see how my paper's too skinny? I can't see that it's lined up with the black line very easily. So what I do is I stick a sticky note on my paper, just line it up with the edge, and it doesn't have to be at the top. Just line it up. Now my paper is extended and I can see that the sticky note is lined up with the black line. Does that make sense? So then what you do is you punch, and then you cover up the blue on this tray. So I'm covering it up so that you can't see any blue. And then I'll punch again. And just keep on going until you get to the end of your sheet. And this is my purple that I messed up with yesterday, so I'm glad I'm using it. There you go. And you got a sticky note that's also okay. Amber waves of grain there. Let's see. Do I have another piece of purple? I need one more of those to finish my layout, but we'll do that later. So my other tip for conserving paper is when you gut your paper. So for instance, on this 4x6 mat, what I'm gonna do is gut the inside of it, because you're gonna cover that with a picture. So I'm gonna take this off. we go. I'm going to take my trimmer, and remember this white line on this, it's our friend. And I'm going to flip it over since it's got tape on it. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch on this, because I'm not going to mat more than 1/2 inch on my photo. So I'm going to line my white line up with the 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch is about where these little lines start. And then I'm going to go down to a 1/2 inch down here. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing. Line it up at 1/2 inch. Start this at my 1/2 inch. Go till there's a 1/2 inch left. Turn it 1/2 inch. Start at the cut line. Go down to 1/2 inch. Turn it 1/2 inch. Cut to cut. Now look, I have a whole piece of paper I can use elsewhere on my layout. And this can just go right back where it was, as soon as I put some more tape on it. And then I have some placeholders here for pictures. This one's actually 4x6, so I don't want that. I need to cut a little bit off of it. Just a smidge, and I'm not measuring, I'm just trimming off a little bit. So pretend this is a picture. It's gonna go right here. Okay, so there's my gutting technique. We did welding. I showed you the sticky notes. So let's finish building this page. I'm going to put this at the top. And I'm actually not even going to worry about taping that down. It'll be fine. There we go. And then some pumpkins. Line those up under that weed a little bit. And then we can embellish. And actually, I might like to put a little strip of this underneath all that. So let's do that. I think that would look nice. I'm just going to cut probably 1/4 inch. Which I don't even know where 1/4 inch is. I'm totally guessing, but let's just say it's there. I think this is cute there. And I do have my mini tape runner we could use. Make this a little quicker. It's nice that all these runners fit into one case. Oh, why isn't it coming off of there? There it goes. They're sticky. Little tiny strips of tape on there. I don't know if I want to cover the pumpkins a little or come down. I think I'll come down. I might cover some of them a little bit. That looks nice. And now we can embellish. And these are some of the embellishments that come with the project recipe kits that you can order starting Monday or get for free by coming to my retreat. I do have, I really like this vine. I have about I have 2 overnight spots left. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop the pumpkins. Don't you like how I think about things while I'm talking? I have 2 overnight spots left for my retreat, and I have probably about 4 spots left for the daily people that don't want to spend the night. It's $240 if you're coming on Thursday. If you're not coming on Thursday, it's $215. And if you're just coming for one day, it's $75, and then $20 every day after that. So if you can only come Friday for the day and then Saturday for the day, that would be $95. Oh yeah, that looks better. I like that. And then we need some journaling or some embellishing. I love these. These are the embellishments that come, or you can order. You do get one of these free by coming to my retreat. And I will have a few extra. But I forgot to take my mini out. Take your mini out and put your regular one back in. And I already lost it. Okay. These are layered embellishments, so they're just a little pop dotted, and I'm going to cover this circle so it helps weld it some more. And I might put some stickers on here. I like this stuff. And I'm still consciously covering this circle a little bit. And I like these. Shove it under there somehow. Get the tool out. There you go. Consciously covering that circle. Okay. And I might put a journal box on later. Let's see, what is this? Oh, see, here's a perfect journal box. I do need to take the tape off of it, but I could cut it. It's probably a little too big. I'm going to cut it in half. This is what I gutted from here, remember? I'm going to cut it in half. Or so. I think I like half. So I'll still use this, and I save all the scraps, at least for a little while. There's a little bit of tape left on here I'll get off, because we did that backwards. And this tool works really good to get it off. Okay, there we go. And I'll just put this also. I might stick it under here a little bit. There we go. Covering that circle again. Welding some more paper. Okay, so there's one side of my layout. On this other side, oops, what I was going to do, I'll use my placeholders again. Is this 4x4? See, it's just the free paper you get with your paper packs. And I think I'll trim these down a little. In fact, it's a little too small maybe. So let's trim them down just a little bit, because remember this was 8x10, but I'm doing pictures. So I'll just trim them down a little bit, like 1/4 inch. Trim these all down. So that'll be like a 3.5 inch picture, and this will be a 3.5 by 5 3/4. If you can do the math. Who can do the math? And I try and make these videos shorter, not only so that I keep your attention, but so that they're easier to upload, but you know, it just happens. So we're just going to line these up on my paper and just pretend these are pictures. Let's do this one first. for our matting. And if you wanted to, you could just leave these and then put your pictures on top of the white, and then it's double matted, kind of. You got a white mat and this green mat on your pumpkins. There we go. So remember, we don't have anything on this side of our weld holding this together, so let's do some embellishing. Let's see, I love these pumpkins since we have pumpkins on the other side, and we also have this wheat on the other side. So let's just do something like that. And since we have the wheat, let's do a pumpkin here and then pop dot up this blessings. There's no one here to blame for my pop dots being not where I think they are. Here they are. I love foam squares. I've been using them a lot lately. They really do add some dimension to your page. Only tricky part is the plastic holding the sticky from getting everywhere. See, they stick to you. And I'm just gonna pop dot that right on the weld there to hold that weld. Okay, so that one's pretty much done, but we still have to do our pumpkins, and I have to find a piece of purple to do my wheat. I guess I could do my strip at my 1/4 inch-ish. I don't want to put any of this down yet because, and then I'll put that vine there too. But I am saving my scraps because, and here's some more scraps I had. Well, I didn't have very many scraps last night because I used them up. But I had a few pieces left here. But what I did with what I had left from last night was make this cute little card. So there's not very much paper on here. And what I did, this was one big photo mat I had left. I gutted the inside out and flipped it over just like we did here. I ran a little bit of ink around it to give it some dimension. These were 2 little strips that I cut smaller and put on both ends of the card. And then some embellishments with some pop dots. And that card's done. Isn't it cute? So, I hope that's some good tips for conserving your paper while you're preserving your memories. I'm going to title this video that. Let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe to my channel. Like and share my video, please. Or give me a heart. And I'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.